Final topic. Put up that Donald Trump Truth Social post, please, mocking our neighbor to the north. Donald Trump has an underrated sense of humor. For example, it was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing the governor again soon. Sean, I'm all for breaking protocol. I'm all for Donald Trump's puckish sense of humor. But what is up with this?
Well, it harkens back to the comments you made in the Meet the Press interview, which is the way that these guys are treating us and their trade imbalance, the borders, et cetera. I mean, he said at some point they could just become a state. And I think he wants to remind Trudeau of that. I mean, it's mocking, it's funny, but it's also just an attempt.
But it's got a purpose. It's got a purpose, you're saying.
Just to be clear, Trudeau shot back at Trump yesterday and said, if he follows through on these 25% tariffs, we'll retaliate. And I think Trump was sort of going, really? You want to retaliate against us? We're the United States. You're the 51st state now.
Retaliate against this. Dan,
Yeah,
do you find that funny, unseemly? What do you think of it?
He's picking on the weakest link in the chain. Like, they're an easy
The Canadians?
target. Yeah, look, he is, and I say this with political respect. He is a bully who likes to belittle people to pump himself up. And
that sounds very respectful.
Right. And I think that that Mexico cannot just turn off immigration and drugs, right? If they could, they would have done it, in the last 30 or 40 years. To say that there's a strong leader in Mexico who controls the government, well, I wouldn't want to bet my future on the president of Mexico, whoever he or she is, having that much of an iron grip. And at the same time, we haven't talked much about this, China is beginning to find ways to have their own shots across the bow. Our friends at NVIDIA are suddenly under investigation in China, and they're threatening to cut off one of their biggest supplies that they need to run their AI data centers, right? The number of companies that have begun to receive notices from the Chinese government that they too are under investigation. Needless to say, if all of this went through, it could hemorrhage our economy. So if you're to talk about what China is threatening to do, you probably don't trust Mexico. So Canada is the little sibling that you can just smack around, and there's very little, like, Trudeau's not going to truly launch a trade war unless we do. So Trump can just act tough.
Yeah, but I think part of it comes back to
Dan,
Trump,
hold on.
Trudeau actually.
Dan, I've never seen you express such anti-Canadian and Mexican hostility. Sean.
But look, I go back to the fact this is Trudeau spoke out. If he had just gone to dinner, enjoyed the meatloaf,
behaved like the junior partner that he is.
Right.
I was going to say, like, he shot back. Trump did.
The only reason that Trump did that is because Trudeau shot back. If he had kept his mouth shut and just said, thank you for the chocolate cake. It is delicious, by the way.
I would, it is. It's not as good as the steak and meatloaf, but it's very good. I would like to be.
Fantastic.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I would like to be cloned and just sit and watch Canadian TV all day, because they must be freaking out over this. They're just being treated, not even like junior partners. They're being treated, I don't even know what, like the Canadian office. Governor Trudeau. It's so insulting.